The first time Kim Taehyung pointed a gun at YN, he was 27 years old. Rain hammered against the metal roof of the abandoned warehouse. The sound was deafening, relentless, like the sky itself was trying to drown out whatever was happening inside. It wasn't working. YN could still hear her own heartbeat, fast, uneven, terrified. Her wrists burned against the rough rope binding them to the chair. Every movement scraped her skin raw. A cut on her lower lip throbbed. She tasted blood every time she swallowed. But none of that mattered. Not really, because standing 6 feet away from her was Kim Taehyung. A gun rested in his hand, its black muzzle pointed directly between her eyes. And somehow, that hurt more than the rope, more than the blood, more than the bruises decorating her body. 5 years. 5 years without a call, without an explanation, without a goodbye. 5 years of wondering, 5 years of anger, 5 years of convincing herself she'd moved on. Then one look at him and every lie she'd told herself collapsed. The worst part. He looked exactly the same. Older, sharper, colder, but still him. Still the same dark eyes. Still the same face she'd memorized years ago. Still the same man she'd loved enough to ruin herself for. The silence stretched, heavy, uncomfortable, dangerous. Rain crashed outside. Neither moved, neither spoke. Then finally, you shouldn't have investigated this case. His voice cut through the room. Deep, calm, familiar. YN almost laughed. Almost. Because after 5 years, that was what he chose to say. Not hello, not sorry, not how have you been, just you shouldn't have investigated this case. A bitter smile tugged at her lips. You disappeared for 5 years. Her voice cracked. She hated that it did. You vanished without a word. Taehyung didn't react, didn't blink, didn't move. You broke every promise you ever made. Nothing. YN felt her anger rising. Good. Anger was easier than heartbreak. Much easier. And that's the first thing you say to me? His jaw tightened. Barely. Most people wouldn't have noticed. YN did. Because once upon a time she'd memorized every expression he made. Every habit. Every tiny movement. The way he clenched his jaw when he was upset, the way he rubbed the back of his neck when he lied, the way his eyes softened whenever he looked at. No, she wasn't thinking about that. Not here, not now. Answer me no. The word landed like a slap. Flat, cold, emotionless. YN stared. For a second she honestly thought she'd imagined it. No hesitation. No regret, just no. Her chest tightened. Why? Nothing. Taehyung, nothing. Why? Still nothing. And suddenly the anger she'd spent years carrying exploded. Why did you leave me? Her scream echoed through the warehouse. Even the rain seemed quieter afterward. For 1 second, one tiny fragile second, Taehyung looked away. And there it was. Pain, a flash of it, gone almost immediately. But YN saw it, and hated herself for feeling relieved, because it meant she wasn't the only one hurting. Then he looked back, expression blank, walls rebuilt, mask restored, because I wanted to. The lie hurt more than the truth ever could. YN laughed. A broken sound. You expect me to believe that? I'm not asking you to believe anything. You promised you'd never leave. Silence. You promised. The gun never moved. Never wavered. Yet YN noticed something. His hand, trembling, just slightly. So slight, nobody else would have seen it, but she did. And suddenly, without warning, a memory slammed into her. A completely different day. A completely different Kim Taehyung. One without guns, without blood, without lies. Back when the deadliest thing he carried was a water gun. Back when she thought he was the most annoying boy she'd ever met. Back when he thought exactly the same thing about her, or at least pretended to. 10 years earlier. YN. The principal's voice echoed through the hallway. YN didn't slow down. In fact, she laughed, which probably wasn't helping her situation. Students jumped aside as she sprinted through the crowded corridor. Her sneakers squeaked against the polished floor, the stolen football tucked securely beneath her arm. Behind her, 3 members of the football team looked ready to commit actual murder. Get back here. No thanks. That's our ball. I know. Then why do you have IT? YN grinned. Excellent question. A horrified teacher stepped out of a classroom just in time to witness the chaos. Miss YN. Good morning, ma'am. Why are you running cardio? The teacher looked offended by the answer. YN kept moving. Laughter bubbled in her chest. This was fun. Possibly because she had terrible decision-making skills. Possibly because she enjoyed causing problems. Definitely both. She rounded a corner, didn't look where she was going, and slammed directly into someone, hard. The football flew in one direction. Books flew by. Papers exploded everywhere. YN nearly landed on the floor. For a second, everything went silent. Uh-oh. Slowly, very slowly, she looked up and immediately regretted every life choice she'd ever made. Kim Taehyung, of course, because apparently the universe hated her. He stood frozen in front of her, tie crooked, papers scattered, expression somewhere between disbelief and exhaustion. His dark hair had fallen into his eyes. One of his notebooks was lying upside down in a puddle of spilled coffee. YN winced. Oof. Taehyung blinked. Once, twice, then seriously. YN offered him her brightest smile. The one teachers hated. The one that usually got her into trouble. Good morning. It is not a good morning. That's a little negative. You hit me with a football. Technically, the football hit you. Taehyung stared, just stared. YN had seen that look before. It was the look people gave her when they were deciding whether violence was worth the consequences. Do you ever stop causing problems? No. The answer came immediately. Without hesitation, Taehyung sighed. Long, tired, like an overworked father, raising 6 children alone. At least you're honest. Something about the response surprised her. Most people yelled. Most people got angry. Taehyung just sounded exhausted. YN crouched down and began gathering his papers. One sheet caught her attention. A test paper. 100%, of course. Another one. She grabbed a second sheet. 100%. Third sheet. 100%. Suspicious. Very suspicious. YN narrowed her eyes. Are you secretly bribing teachers? Taehyung nearly choked. What, there's no way you're getting these scores naturally? Maybe study sometime and find out? The audacity. YN gasped dramatically. I was helping you. You caused this. I am helping fix it. You caused it. You're repeating yourself because you're impossible. For some reason, that made her smile. A real smile this time. And for the first time, Taehyung noticed it. Why are you looking at me like that? Taehyung blinked. For a second, something flickered across his face. Not an annoyance, not irritation, something else. Something YN couldn't quite name. Then, just as quickly as it appeared, it vanished. His expression immediately reset. The familiar blank look returned. Walls back up, defenses rebuilt, like whatever she'd caught a glimpse of had never existed at all. Oh, good. YN pushed herself to her feet, dusting off her skirt as she stood. The stack of papers shifted awkwardly in her arms before she handed them back to him. You do know how to blink. Taehyung took the papers. His eyes twitched. Just once. But it was there. Interesting. Very interesting. YN fought the urge to grin. She was beginning to learn that Kim Taehyung had exactly 3 emotions: annoyed, disappointed, and more annoyed. The principal finally appeared around the corner, red-faced, breathing heavily. His tie was slightly crooked. His hair was no longer neatly combed. The man looked like he'd just run a marathon. Miss YN. The sheer exhaustion in his voice almost made her feel bad. Almost. YN immediately pointed at Taehyung. He started it. Taehyung looked offended. Actually offended. His eyebrows lifted. His mouth parted slightly, as though he genuinely couldn't believe she had the confidence to lie that boldly. The principal looked between them, then at the scattered papers, then at the football team, then back at YN. A long silence followed, the kind adults used when deciding whether yelling was worth the effort. No, but no. How do you know? The principal stared at her, completely unimpressed, because every sentence involving you ends with paperwork. Several nearby students laughed. Why? Ino opened her mouth, closed it, opened it again, searching for a defense, finding absolutely nothing. Then sighed dramatically. That's fair. The principal pinched the bridge of his nose. The motion looked practiced, like he'd done it hundreds of times before, probably because of her. Detention. Again? Again. Why? N pressed a hand to her chest. Wounded, betrayed, devastated. You're obsessed with me. Detention. Why? N pointed at Taehyung. What about him? Taehyung looked up from organizing his papers. What about me? He was standing in my path. The principal looked ready to cry. Actually cry. Miss YN. Okay. She raised both hands, surrendering. Mostly. The principal turned toward Taehyung. Can you supervise detention this afternoon? Of course he could, because apparently fate wasn't done tormenting either of them. Taehyung looked at YN. YN looked at Taehyung. A silent conversation passed between them, one filled entirely with mutual disappointment. Neither looked happy about it. Yes, sir. The principal nodded, relief immediately visible on his face. Then he walked away before YN could create another problem. Smart man. Very smart man. The final bell rang 3 hours later. The sound echoed through the hallways like a declaration of freedom. Instantly, classroom doors flew open. Students poured out in waves, laughing, talking, already making plans for the rest of the day, excited for freedom, for home, for anything that wasn't school. Meanwhile, YN dragged herself toward detention like she was walking toward her execution. Her backpack hung loosely from one shoulder. Every step felt heavier than the last. She wasn't even sorry. Not really. She was mostly annoyed she'd gotten caught. This is discrimination, she muttered. Her friend laughed, not even looking surprised. You say that every week, because every week it's true. You literally stole a football. I borrowed it. You ran from the principal. He enjoys the exercise. Her friend stared, a long stare, the kind people gave when they realized logic had completely left the conversation. You make me tired. Join the club. They reached the classroom door. YN stopped, a sense of dread immediately settling over her. She leaned toward the small glass window, peered inside, and groaned. There he was, Kim Taehyung, already seated behind the teacher's desk, already reading, already looking like he paid taxes. At 17, his posture was perfect. His tie was somehow still neat, despite the chaos earlier. Even the way he turned pages looked organized. It was unnatural. Honestly, concerning. Why does he always look 30 years old? Her friend laughed. Maybe because someone has to act like an adult around here. Rude. Accurate. Unfortunately, very accurate. Why? Anne sighed dramatically. Then pushed the classroom door open, immediately regretting it. The room smelled like old textbooks and dry erase markers. The familiar scent of boredom. Sunlight filtered through the windows. Dust particles drifted lazily through golden beams of light. Everything felt quiet. Too quiet. She hated quiet. Quiet meant thinking. Thinking usually led to trouble, or overthinking, which somehow led to even more trouble. Taehyung looked up as she entered. His eyes met hers briefly. Only briefly. Then he looked back down at his book. The disrespect, the audacity, the complete lack of appreciation for her presence. Wow. No response. Not even a glance. Not even a hello. Nothing. YN dropped into a chair. Loudly, the legs scraped dramatically against the floor. Still nothing. The boy was impulsible. Minutes passed. Then more minutes. Then somehow even more minutes. The clock ticked. The pages of Taehyung's book turned. A bird chirped outside. Somewhere in the hallway, a locker slammed shut. YN was dying. Actually dying. This was torture. Psychological torture, which was probably illegal. She glanced toward him, still reading, of course. The man had the concentration of a monk. What was he even reading? A dictionary, a textbook, tax law. She wouldn't have been surprised, honestly, if she opened that book and found an article about mortgage rates. She wouldn't even blink. Slowly, a grin appeared. An idea, a terrible idea, her favorite kind, the kind that usually ended with consequences. Future YN's problem. Present YN was busy. YN grabbed a scrap piece of paper, crumpled it, aimed carefully, and flicked it. The paper ball bounced off Taehyung's shoulder. Nothing, not even a reaction. YN frowned. Interesting. Very interesting. She made another one. This time it hit his forehead. Taehyung sighed. A long-suffering sigh. The kind people made when they questioned every choice that had led them to this moment. Still reading. Still not looking up. Why? In sat straighter. Offended. Genuinely offended. Oh, now you're just insulting me. Finally. Finally he looked up. His eyes met hers. Flat, unimpressed, already exhausted. What? There she is. His expression remained blank. Not a smile, not a frown, nothing. It was honestly impressive. What do you want? YN rested her chin on her hand. Entertainment. I'm reading. I can see that. So entertain yourself. She stared. He stared. The challenge hung in the air between them. Neither moved. Neither blinked. Then suddenly you have pretty eyes. The words escaped before she could stop them. The second they left her mouth, regret arrived. Fast, immediate, violent, silence, immediate, absolute, deadly. YN froze. Taehyung froze. The classroom froze. Even the clock seemed to stop. Oh no. Oh, this was bad. Very bad. Why had she said that? What was wrong with her? There had been absolutely no reason to say that. None. Zero. She wanted to disappear. Possibly into another country. Possibly another planet. Taehyung blinked. Once. Twice. His ears turned pink. Actually pink. Why? N's eyes widened. Well, that was new and unexpectedly adorable. For someone who spent most of his time looking emotionally unavailable, he was surprisingly easy to fluster. Taehyung immediately looked back down at his book, far too quickly, far too suspiciously. The movement alone was enough to confirm it. YN smiled, slowly, dangerously. The smile of someone who had just discovered valuable information. Oh no. Oh my god, no. Kim Taehyung. He closed his eyes, already regretting whatever came next. Unfortunately for him, YN had just discovered something. Something important. Something valuable. Something she planned to abuse immediately. Kim Taehyung, the perfect student. The teacher's favorite. The human calculator could get embarrassed. And suddenly, detention didn't seem so boring anymore. Kim Taehyung could get embarrassed. The discovery changed everything. YN sat back in her chair, a slow grin spreading across her face. The kind of grin that usually meant trouble. Taehyung noticed it immediately, which somehow made it worse. Because now he knew, she knew, and YN looked far too pleased about it. No. His voice was calm, too calm. The voice of someone who could already see disaster approaching. YN leaned forward, resting both elbows on the desk. What? No. What? Whatever you're thinking. It's a terrible idea. YN gasped dramatically. You wound me. I know you. You absolutely do not. I've known you for 6 hours. And that's enough. Honestly fair. Very fair. YN hated how fair that was. You know, most people would thank me. For what? For complimenting them. Taehyung looked back at his book. Most people aren't you. The audacity. The disrespect. The accuracy. YN clicked her tongue. You keep acting like I'm some kind of criminal. You stole a football. I borrowed a football. You ran from the principal. He was overreacting. You hit me. That was an accident. You blamed me. That was survival. For the first time, a laugh escaped him. Tiny, barely audible, but there. YN froze. Again. Because she wasn't prepared for that. She wasn't prepared for the way his entire face changed when he laughed. The way the seriousness disappeared, the way his eyes softened, the way he suddenly looked less like the terrifying student council president, and more like a normal 17-year-old boy. A cute 17-year-old boy. Dangerous thought. Abort mission. Immediately. YN cleared her throat, looking anywhere except him. Unfortunately, that only made her aware of one thing. The classroom was quiet again. Too quiet. The kind of quiet that forced people to think. And YN hated thinking. Thinking usually led to feelings. Feelings were annoying. So she did what she always did. She talked. Aren't you bored? Taehyung flipped the page. No. How? What do you mean? How? You're reading, yes, for fun. Yes, voluntarily. Yes. YN stared, horrified. That's insane. It's a book. It's 400 pages. So, there's no pictures. Taehyung slowly lowered the book. The look he gave her was devastating. Did you just admit you only like books with pictures? They tell a story faster. That's called a comic. Exactly. You've never read this? Have you? No. You don't even know what it's about. Does anyone? Taehyung looked offended. Genuinely offended. YN almost laughed. Almost. Then she noticed the title. The Great Gatsby. She frowned. Why are you reading that? Because I like it. You've read it before. 3 times. YN nearly fell out of her chair. 3 times. It's a good book. You already know what happens. That's not the point. Then what's the point? For the first time, Taehyung actually thought about the question. The book lowered slightly. His gaze drifted toward the window. Sunlight danced across the classroom floor. Dust floated lazily through the air. It's different every time. YN blinked. What? The story stays the same. His voice softened, but you don't. For some reason, that answer surprised her. She expected something boring, something academic, something annoyingly smart. Instead, it sounded personal, almost sad. Taehyung seemed to realize he'd said too much, because he immediately looked back at his book. Conversation over. Wall rebuilt. Interesting. Very interesting. Why? N studied him quietly. Maybe for the first time. Really studied him. Everyone at school knew Kim Taehyung, or at least they thought they did. Perfect grades, perfect attendance, perfect manners. Student council president. Teachers loved him. Parents loved him. Students respected him. Some feared him. Most admired him. But sitting here, watching him in an empty classroom, he suddenly seemed different. Not perfect, just lonely. The thought caught her off guard, because lonely was the last word she'd ever associate with Kim Taehyung. Yet suddenly she couldn't stop seeing it. The empty desk beside him at lunch. The way he always ate alone. The way he left class immediately after the bell. The way nobody ever seemed close enough to call him their best friend. He was surrounded by people, but somehow always by himself. The realization settled heavily in her chest. Strange, uncomfortable. She didn't like it, so naturally she ruined the moment. Do you have friends? Taehyung choked, actually choked. His head snapped up. What? Friends. I know what friends are. Do you have any? Yes. YN narrowed her eyes. Name 3. That's not how this works. Name 3. Taehyung sighed, the exhausted parent sigh again. YN was beginning to enjoy those. Jungkook, K. Jungkook, fine. Joseok, YN nodded. Reasonable answers. Then, do they know they're your friends? The glare she received was worth it. Absolutely worth it. A masterpiece. 10 out of 10. No notes. You are unbelievably annoying. Thank you. It wasn't a compliment. It felt like one. The corner of Taehyung's mouth twitched. Just slightly. A tiny movement. Gone almost instantly. But YN caught it. And something warm settled unexpectedly in her chest. The kind of warmth she couldn't explain. The kind she definitely wasn't going to think about. Outside, the sun had started sinking lower. Golden light flooded the classroom. The detention period was nearly over. Neither of them realized how much time had passed, which was strange. Usually, detention felt endless. Yet somehow this one hadn't. YN noticed it first. She glanced at the clock, then blinked. Wait. Taehyung looked up. What? It's almost over. So, she pointed dramatically at the clock. Detention usually feels like prison. Taehyung returned to his book. Maybe you finally learned how to sit still. Impossible. Agreed. The answer came too quickly. YN gasped. You've become comfortable insulting me. I adapted. To me. To survival. She laughed. A real laugh. Loud enough to fill the empty classroom. And for a second, Taehyung simply watched her. The sound lingered. Warm, bright, alive. Different from the quiet he'd grown used to. Different from anything he'd expected. And for reasons he couldn't explain, he found himself smiling. Just a little, without realizing it, without noticing that YN saw. Without noticing that for the first time all day, she wasn't looking at him like he was boring. She was looking at him like she wanted to know more. And somehow that felt far more dangerous. For a moment, Taehyung forgot about the papers. Forgot about the football team. Forgot about the coffee slowly soaking the corner of his notebook. because YN was smiling, not her usual troublemaker smile, not the one she used whenever she was about to get herself into trouble. This one was different, smaller, softer, real. It appeared for only a second, then disappeared so quickly he almost convinced himself he imagined it. Almost. The rest of the school day moved painfully slowly. At least for YN, math felt longer. Science felt longer. History felt like an actual attack against humanity. Every time she looked at the clock, only 3 minutes had passed. How was that possible? Time was clearly broken. By lunch, she had become unbearable. Do you think detention counts as emotional abuse? No. Her friend didn't even look up from her food. What if I make a strong argument? No. What if I cry? You won't? I could. You literally laughed while getting chased by the principal. YN stabbed a French fry dramatically. Nobody understands my suffering. You stole a football. There it is again. The truth. The judgment. Her friend rolled her eyes, then froze. Oh what? Oh what? Her friend nodded toward the cafeteria entrance. YN turned and immediately spotted him. Kim Taehyung, walking into the cafeteria, a stack of books tucked beneath one arm. Tie perfectly straight, hair slightly messy, looking annoyingly put together for someone who probably woke up at 6 in the morning voluntarily. Why are you staring? I'm not. You literally are. I was observant. That's somehow worse. YN ignored her because something else caught her attention. Taehyung wasn't joining anyone. No group of friends. No table waiting for him. No one calling his name. He simply walked to an empty table by the window, sat down, opened a book, and started reading. At lunch, for fun. Psychotic behavior. Honestly, a little concerning. Her friend followed her gaze. You're doing it again. What? Looking at him. I'm studying him. Why? YN frowned, then realized she didn't actually know. Good question. Very annoying question. Because for some reason, she'd been thinking about him ever since the hallway incident. The way he'd sighed. The way he'd looked exhausted before she even spoke. The way he'd laughed. That tiny laugh. Barely there, yet somehow stuck in her head all day. Weird. Very weird. She didn't like it. So naturally, she stood up. Her friend immediately looked alarmed. No? Yes. No? Absolutely yes. YN. Too late. She was already walking. Across the cafeteria, Taehyung was halfway through a chapter when a tray slammed onto the table, hard enough to make him jump. He looked up, immediately regretted it. YN dropped into the seat across from him, grinning like she'd just won something. What are you doing? Lunch. There are hundreds of empty seats, yet here I am. Taehyung looked toward the ceiling, possibly asking for patience. Possibly asking for divine intervention. YN wasn't sure. Either way, it wasn't working. She leaned forward, looking directly at the book. Still reading? No. Her eyes narrowed. That sounded sarcastic. It was progress. Very exciting progress. Wow. What? You have jokes? I regret speaking. Why? And laughed. And once again, the sound made the empty cafeteria feel strangely less empty. A feeling Taehyung definitely wasn't going to examine. Not today. Not ever. Probably. Hopefully. Unfortunately, YN had already decided she wasn't leaving, and somehow, neither was he. Unfortunately, YN had already decided she wasn't leaving, and somehow, neither was he. For the next 5 minutes, she sat across from him, doing absolutely nothing. Well, nothing productive. Taehyung tried reading, tried being mature, tried pretending she wasn't there. All 3 attempts failed spectacularly. Because YN had discovered something fascinating. Kim Taehyung got distracted. Not often, not easily, but he did. And every time she caught him rereading the same sentence, she smiled, which only made him more distracted. A vicious cycle. You know, Taehyung didn't look up. That was mistake number one. Whenever YN started a sentence with, you know, trouble followed, I feel like you're secretly 80 years old. There it was. Trouble. I'm 17. Physically, Taehyung flipped a page, and mentally, she pointed dramatically. 80. I'll survive. No, seriously. YN leaned forward, resting her chin on both hands. What do you do for fun? I read. Besides reading, I study. Horrifying. Taehyung finally looked up. What do you do for fun? The question caught her off guard, because nobody ever asked. People usually assumed. And honestly, most assumptions were correct. I annoy people. I noticed I play football. You steal footballs. Bara, you stole it. Your commitment to this accusation is impressive. A sigh escaped him. YN grinned. Victory. Another point for her. Somewhere in the distance, the lunch bell rang. Students immediately stood, gathering trays. Returning to class, the cafeteria emptied quickly. But neither of them moved. For a second, they simply sat there, an awkward silence settling between them. Not uncomfortable, just new. Eventually, Taehyung stood, books gathered beneath his arm. I have class. Congratulations. He stared. YN stared back. Then, something unbelievable happened. Taehyung smiled. Not a laugh, not a twitch, an actual smile. Small, brief, gone before she could properly process it. But real, completely real. And somehow, that felt more dangerous than anything else. The rest of the day should have been normal. It wasn't. Because why? N couldn't stop thinking about that stupid smile, which was ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. She'd seen smiles before, millions of them. Probably. Yet somehow, this one kept replaying in her head. By the final bell, she was annoyed, mostly at herself, a little at Taehyung. Somehow, when detention finally arrived, she entered the classroom, expecting the usual boredom, silence, suffering. Instead, she found Taehyung standing on a chair. YN stopped, blinking once, twice, 3 times. What are you doing? Taehyung nearly fell. Actually nearly fell. His hand shot toward the bookshelf beside him. Steadying himself, the sight was so unexpected that YN immediately burst out laughing. What happened to being mature? I'm reaching something. Clearly. The top shelf towered above him. Several old books, balanced precariously near the edge. YN crossed her arms, watching. This was entertaining. Very entertaining. You know, Taehyung didn't respond. You're shorter than I expected. His head whipped around. I'm taller than you. Not from up there. The glare she received was magnificent. Art. Honestly. Museum-worthy. Why? N laughed harder. Unfortunately, the universe hates happiness. Because the moment she laughed, one of the books slipped. Neither noticed. Until it started falling, directly toward Taehyung. Look out. The shout left YN before she thought. Taehyung turned. Too late. The heavy book tumbled toward him. Instinctively, YN lunged forward, grabbing his arm hard. The chair tilted. Taehyung lost balance. YN lost balance. The chair collapsed. The book crashed to the floor, and suddenly everything happened at once. A loud bang. A surprised yell. The sound of books scattering. Then silence. Complete silence. YN blinked, confused. For a second, she couldn't understand what had happened. Then she realized something very important. Taehyung was underneath her, very underneath her. Her hands were pressed against his chest. His arm was wrapped around her waist. Both frozen, both staring, neither breathing. The classroom suddenly felt much smaller, much warmer, much quieter. YN became painfully aware of everything. How close they were. How his eyes looked up close. How his heartbeat seemed impossibly loud. Or maybe that was hers. Possibly both. Definitely both. Neither moved. Neither spoke. For one terrifying second, the entire world disappeared. Then the classroom door opened. A teacher stepped inside, took one look, stopped. Silence, a very long silence. Then, should I come back later? YN immediately jumped up. Taehyung sat upright so fast he nearly got whiplash. Both looked horrified. The teacher looked amused, very amused. Unfortunately, and just like that, the moment shattered. But neither noticed one thing. The way their hearts kept racing long after it ended, and neither understood why. The next morning, YN considered faking her own death. It seemed easier, because the second she stepped into school, she remembered. The bookshelf, the fall, the teacher, the humiliation, and worst of all, Kim Taehyung. Her feet immediately slowed. Maybe she could go home. Maybe she was sick. Very sick. Critically sick, unfortunately dash. YN. Too late. Her friend appeared beside her, looking far too excited for 8 in the morning. How's your boyfriend? YN nearly walked into a wall. What? The student council president. He is not my boyfriend. Half the hallway turned. Several students looked over. One teacher looked concerned. YN regretted everything. Her friend was enjoying this entirely too much. You landed on him. I saved his life. It was a dictionary. It was a heavy dictionary. It weighed 2 pounds. It could have been fatal. Her friend laughed. Why? And suffered. Life was unfair. Meanwhile, on the other side of the hallway, Taehyung was having his own problems. Specifically, Jimin, his best friend, his biggest headache. And unfortunately, far too observant. You like her. Taehyung continued walking. No, you do. No, you do. No. Jimin smiled, dangerous, victorious. The smile of a man who already knew he was right. Then why are your ears red? Taehyung immediately touched them. Jimin burst out laughing. Oh my god. Hush, you checked. Hush, you actually checked. Park Yimin, I've never seen you this nervous. Taehyung sighed, because neither had he. And that was the problem. The first class of the day felt normal. The second one didn't, because YN walked in late. Again, the classroom door opened. An apology left her mouth automatically, and then she saw him. Kim Taehyung, seated beside the only empty desk. The only one. The universe was a comedian, a cruel comedian. The teacher pointed. Sit. YN stared. The teacher stared back. Now wonderful, fantastic, amazing. She hated everything. Slowly she walked toward the empty desk. Taehyung looked up briefly, then immediately looked back down at his notes, which somehow annoyed her. Why did that annoy her? She didn't know. She wasn't going to examine it. The seats scraped against the floor. YN sat down. Silence. Neither looked at the other. Neither spoke. Everything was fine. Everything was normal. Everything was. Are you okay? YN blinked. The whisper came from beside her. Taehyung wasn't looking at her. His attention remained on the board. Like the question had never happened. What? The fall. Still not looking at her. Did you get hurt? Why? YN stared. For a second, she forgot how to answer, because nobody expected Kim Taehyung to ask questions like that. Not about her. Not quietly. Not when nobody else could hear. Something warm settled in her chest. Annoyingly warm. I'm fine. A pause. Then good. That was it. One word. Yet somehow, she smiled. Lunch arrived. Then chaos. As usual. Why? Anne was halfway through her meal when a football player dropped into the seat beside her. One of the seniors. Tall, confident, popular. The kind of guy who knew he was attractive. And unfortunately, he also knew why. N, you owe me. Why? N pointed her fork. For what? You stole our ball. Borrowed. The boy laughed. You're impossible. People keep saying that. Maybe? Listen, never. He shook his head, smiling, and somehow the conversation continued. Easy, comfortable, natural, until he asked, You coming to the game Friday? Maybe you should? Why? His grin widened. Because I'm playing. Oh, maybe I need motivation. Why? N immediately understood. Oh. The football player laughed. You finally got it. Unfortunately, across the cafeteria, Taehyung looked up from his book. The timing couldn't have been worse. Or better, depending on who you asked. His gaze landed on YN. Then the football player, then YN again, and suddenly he wasn't reading anymore. Jimin noticed immediately. Because of course he did. What happened? Nothing. You're doing the thing. Taehyung frowned. The thing. The staring thing? I am not staring. You absolutely are. Jimin followed his gaze, then immediately understood. Oh. What? Oh. Taehyung hated that tone. What? Jimin grinned. You look jealous. The answer came too quickly. I'm not. Sure. I'm not. Then stopped glaring at him. Taehyung blinked, then slowly looked away, because apparently he had been glaring. Interesting. Very interesting. And slightly concerning. The problem wasn't the football player. At least, that's what Taehyung told himself. The problem was that he was loud and annoying and constantly leaning too close and making YN laugh. And no, actually, maybe the problem was the football player. Unfortunately, the realization followed him throughout the rest of the day. By the final bell, he was irritated, mostly at himself, because this was ridiculous. Completely ridiculous. He barely knew her. A few conversations. A few detentions. One near-death experience involving a dictionary. That was all. So why did seeing another guy make his chest tighten? The answer arrived before he was ready for it. Simple, terrifying, unavoidable. Because somewhere between the hallway collision and detention and lunch and her laugh, Kim Taehyung had started looking for YN without realizing it. And now he couldn't seem to stop, which would have been bad enough if YN wasn't starting to do exactly the same thing. The following week should have been normal. It wasn't, because somehow, without either of them noticing, they had developed a routine. And routines were dangerous, especially when they involved someone becoming important. It started small, almost invisible. A greeting in the hallway. A sarcastic comment during detention. A shared laugh at lunch. Tiny things. The kind nobody pays attention to, until suddenly, they become the best part of your day. Monday, YN walked into school carrying enough books to qualify as a safety hazard. One slipped, then another, then another. She watched them fall. Wonderful. A hand appeared, picking up the nearest book. YN looked up. Of course, Kim Taehyung. because apparently he was everywhere now. The universe had become obsessed. Careful. She accepted the book. Thank you. A pause. Then wait. Taehyung blinked. What? Did I just say thank you? Yes. Disgusting. And just like that, he laughed. The real laugh. The one she rarely saw. The one that always caught her off guard. YN immediately regretted making the joke. Not because it wasn't funny, but because every time he laughed, her stomach did something weird, and she didn't like it. Not one bit. Tuesday. Detention again. Not because she did anything major, just because she accidentally kicked a football through an open classroom window. Accidentally, mostly. Taehyung didn't even look surprised anymore. You know, he signed another detention slip. I think the principal has a file dedicated to you. YN sat down dramatically. I bring excitement to this institution. You bring paperwork. Same thing. No, basically, no. She grinned, he sighed, and somehow both of them enjoyed it. Wednesday, the library. The worst place in the school. According to YN, the best place in the school. According to Taehyung, which was exactly why she found herself standing there, against her will, mostly. The librarian shushed her before she'd even spoken. Rude. Very rude. YN wandered between shelves, lost, confused, bored. Then she spotted him. Of course she did, sitting by the window, reading again. The sunlight filtered through the glass behind him, painting everything gold. His headphones rested around his neck, a pencil balanced between his fingers. Completely focused, completely unaware. For some reason YN stopped walking. Just watched. A strange feeling settled in her chest. Not excitement, not annoyance. Something else, something quieter, something she couldn't name. And honestly, that scared her more, because YN understood excitement. She understood chaos. She understood trouble. But this was different. A voice interrupted her thoughts. Why are you standing there? YN nearly jumped. Taehyung looked amused. Amused. The audacity. Why are you reading? His eyebrow lifted. Because it's a library. Suspicious. He laughed softly, then pointed toward the chair across from him. Sit. YN blinked. What? Sit? The realization felt strange, warm, dangerous. YN sat, immediately regretted how happy she felt about it. 5 minutes passed, then 10, then 15. Taehyung continued reading. YN continued dying. This was torture. Actual torture. How did he do this? How did he sit still for so long? Eventually, she reached across the table and stole his book. Taehyung froze. Slowly, very slowly, he looked up. YN held the book hostage. Triumphant, victorious, an idiot. Give it back. No, YN. No. His eyes narrowed. Her grin widened. Neither moved. The tension stretched. Then suddenly, Taehyung stood. YN immediately backed away, clutching the book protectively. Oh my God. What? You're actually angry. I'm not. You are. I'm not. You absolutely are. For one terrifying second, she thought he might actually take the book. Instead, he reached across the table, closer, closer, close enough for YN to stop breathing. His fingers brushed hers. Just briefly. Just enough. Then he pulled the book free. Both froze. Neither spoke. The library suddenly felt very quiet, very small, very warm. Taehyung cleared his throat first. Returning to his seat, YN stared at the table, the book, the window, anywhere except him, because her heartbeat was doing something ridiculous, and she refused to investigate. Thursday, the universe finally decided to be cruel. Math results arrived. YN stared at the paper, then stared some more, then stared harder. 38%. 38. A tragedy, a disaster, a crime scene. She dropped her forehead onto the desk. Please tell me that's upside down. It isn't. Why? Anne looked up. Taehyung sat beside her, exam paper in hand. His score, 100, of course, because apparently perfection was free for him. Meanwhile, she was fighting for survival. Don't talk to me. Why? I am mourning. His lips twitched. Dangerous. Very dangerous. You need help. I need a miracle. You need tutoring. Why? Anne immediately sat upright. Absolutely not. No. Never. Over her dead body. I refuse. Why? Because, compelling argument. She pointed at him. You enjoy studying? I do. That's insane. You've mentioned that before. It remains true. Taehyung shook his head. Then, to her complete shock, he smiled. The soft one. The genuine one. The one she was beginning to like far too much. I'll help you. The words came easily, naturally, like it wasn't a big deal, but somehow it felt like one, because neither of them realized it yet. But this wasn't about math anymore. It wasn't about detention, or books, or footballs. Somewhere along the way, they'd stopped being two students, forced to spend time together, and started becoming something else. Something quieter. Something stronger. Something neither of them was ready to name yet. And unfortunately for both of them, that was when everything truly began. Something neither of them was ready to name yet. The first tutoring session happened 3 days later, or, more specifically, it happened because, why? Anne spent 3 days pretending it wasn't happening. Unfortunately, Kim Taehyung was annoyingly persistent. Library. After school. No. 4 o'clock. No. Bring your math book. No. You failed. That feels unnecessary. You got 38%. You're obsessed with my downfall. I'm trying to prevent it. Same thing. By Friday afternoon, she was sitting across from him in the library anyway. Life was cruel. The library was nearly empty. Only a few students remained. The setting sun painted everything gold. Dust floated through beams of light. The atmosphere was peaceful. Disgustingly peaceful. Why? Anne hated it. Mostly because peaceful environments made it harder to escape. Taehyung placed a worksheet in front of her. She stared, then stared harder. Nothing happened. The numbers remained incomprehensible. What language is this? Math? I don't speak it. Taehyung pinched the bridge of his nose, already tired. They'd been here 3 minutes. 3. Okay. He took a deep breath. We'll start simple. Those are famous last words. He ignored her, mostly because he was learning that ignoring YN was sometimes the only path to survival. Let's say you have 10 apples. Why do I have 10 apples? It's an example. Who gave me 10 apples? YN. No, seriously. YN. What if I don't want apples? YN. What if I prefer oranges? Across the table, a librarian looked ready to throw them both out. Taehyung sighed. Long, exhausted, defeated. YN smiled. The session was going well. An hour later, it was not going well. At least not for her. Because, despite all her jokes, Taehyung was actually trying, patiently, carefully, explaining things 3 different ways when she didn't understand, never making fun of her, never acting annoyed, never giving up. which was surprising. Most people gave up on YN. Eventually, teachers, tutors, classmates, even friends sometimes. Not because they disliked her, but because keeping up with her was exhausting. Yet somehow, Taehyung stayed, explaining, repeating, helping, again and again and again. Eventually she got one right. Just one. A single problem. But still, her eyes widened. Wait, Taehyung looked up. What? I got it. You did. No, seriously. I know, I actually got it. The smile that appeared on her face could have powered an entire city. Taehyung found himself smiling too, without meaning to, without noticing, without realizing he was becoming addicted to moments like this. Moments where she looked proud of herself, moments where she looked happy, moments where she forgot to pretend she didn't care. Because the truth was, YN cared a lot about everything. She just hid it behind jokes. The sun had almost disappeared by the time they packed up. The library was empty now, silent. Only the two of them remained. YN stretched dramatically, her back cracking. Ow, you've been sitting for 2 hours. Exactly. Most people do that every day. They're stronger than me. Taehyung laughed, a real laugh, and YN froze. Again. God. That laugh, why was it becoming her favorite sound? A dangerous question. One she refused to answer. They left the library together, walking through mostly empty hallways. The school felt different after hours. Quieter, softer, less chaotic. Their footsteps echoed. For a while, neither spoke. The silence wasn't awkward anymore. That was new. A few weeks ago, silence between them felt impossible. Now, it felt comfortable, natural. Like sitting beside each other wasn't work anymore. The realization scared both of them a little, though neither admitted it. You know? Why? N kicked a pebble across the pavement outside. What? I thought you hated me. Taehyung looked at her. The question caught him off guard. You did, obviously. Why? Because every time we met, you looked exhausted. That's because you were causing problems. I was creating memories. You stole school property, borrowed. There it is. YN laughed. Then her smile softened slightly, but seriously. She looked ahead, watching the sunset. I thought you hated me. Taehyung was quiet for a moment, thinking, because the answer was complicated. The truth was that YN had always been impossible. Loud, chaotic, unpredictable, a walking disaster. But she was also funny, kind, braver than most people, and somehow capable of making ordinary days feel interesting, which meant, no, he'd never hated her. Not even once. I didn't. YN looked at him, surprised. Really? Really? For some reason that answer made her happier than it should have. A cool breeze passed between them. The sun dipped lower. Orange light painted the sky, and suddenly, for the first time, neither was thinking about school, or grades, or detention, or footballs. They were just walking, together, talking, like they'd been doing it forever, like it was normal, like it belonged to them. Neither realized it. But years later, when everything fell apart, when guns replaced textbooks, when lies replaced laughter, this would become one of the memories that hurt the most. Because sometimes the moments that destroy you later look completely ordinary while they're happening. And right now, neither of them had any idea they were creating one. Neither of them had any idea they were creating one. The tutoring sessions became a habit, then a routine, then something neither of them questioned anymore. Every Tuesday, every Thursday, every Friday, Library after school. Same table, same chairs, same arguments. At first, it was about math. Then somehow it wasn't. 3 weeks later, YN arrived carrying 2 iced coffees. Taehyung immediately looked suspicious. Very suspicious. The kind of suspicious usually reserved for crime scenes. What did you do? YN placed 1 coffee in front of him, offended. Wow, what? You think so little of me. You brought me something. That's called being nice. You've never done it before. The betrayal, the disrespect, the accuracy. YN pointed at him dramatically. I am a generous person. You stole a football. 1 mistake. You got detention 5 times. Character development. Taehyung laughed, actually laughed, and YN immediately decided bringing coffee had been worth it. They studied well. Taehyung studied. YN tried. Eventually, after complaining a lot. About an hour later, she dropped her pencil, then her forehead, directly onto the table. I give up. You've done 3 questions. Exactly. You have 12 left. I'm retiring. Taehyung didn't even look surprised anymore. 3 weeks ago, he would have argued. Now, he simply took a sip of coffee. And what will you do after retirement? Travel with what money? Details. You don't have money. Dream. Killer. I prefer realist. That's somehow worse. The corner of his mouth twitched. Victory. Outside, rain suddenly began hitting the windows, soft at first, then harder. Students hurried across campus. The sky darkened. Thunder rolled somewhere far away. YN looked outside, then frowned. You like rain? The question seemed random, but Taehyung answered anyway. Sometimes, that's not an answer. It depends on what. A pause, then who I'm with. YN blinked. The answer surprised her. Not because it was romantic. It wasn't. Not really. But because it sounded honest, like one of those thoughts people usually keep to themselves, the kind that accidentally reveals something important. For a moment, neither spoke. Then YN smiled softly. That's kind of cheesy. Taehyung looked horrified. Immediately, I regret saying anything. Too late. A laugh escaped her, and once again, the library felt warmer. Eventually, the conversation drifted away from math, away from school, toward them, the real them, the versions nobody else saw. Why do you always stay after school? YN asked. Taehyung looked down at his notebook. The answer took longer this time, long enough that she almost apologized. Then my parents work late. His voice was quiet. I usually go home alone. YN's smile faded slightly. Oh, a pause. I didn't know that. Taehyung shrugged. Most people don't. For some reason, that sentence made her chest hurt, because it was true. Most people didn't know anything about him. Not really. They knew the grades, the student council title, the perfect reputation, but they didn't know him. Not the actual Kim Taehyung, the lonely one, the quiet one, the boy who spent lunch reading alone, the boy who sat in empty classrooms after school, the boy who always seemed fine, even when he wasn't. Something shifted inside her. Small, almost invisible, yet important. What about you? His voice pulled her back. YN blinked. What about me? Your family. Immediately, her smile changed. Smaller, less certain. Taehyung noticed. Of course he did. He noticed everything. My dad travels a lot. She looked down, turning her pencil between her fingers. My mom works most nights. The words sounded casual, almost careless, but Taehyung heard what wasn't being said. The empty house, the long nights, the loneliness, different from his, yet somehow similar. You stay alone too. It wasn't a question. YN laughed softly. The sound felt sad, a little. Most of the time, for a moment, neither spoke. Rain continued, tapping against the windows. Students continued rushing outside. The world kept moving, something neither would forget. YN smiled. A real smile, not the loud one, not the sarcastic one, the vulnerable one, the one she rarely showed anyone. You know what? I'm glad you don't hate me. Taehyung froze. The words weren't dramatic, weren't romantic, shouldn't have mattered, yet somehow they did, a lot, because she sounded sincere, because she meant it, because, for some reason, the idea of losing her friendship suddenly felt wrong, very wrong, and that realization scared him more than he wanted to admit. His gaze met hers. For a second, the library disappeared, the rain disappeared, everything disappeared. Just her, just him, just this moment. Then, a loud crash echoed somewhere behind them. Both jumped. The spell shattered instantly. YN laughed. Taehyung looked away, and neither noticed how fast their hearts were beating. Later that evening, they left the library together. Again, walking beneath one umbrella, because the rain hadn't stopped, and because YN had forgotten hers. Obviously, you'd lose your head if it wasn't attached, she gasped. That was rude. It was accurate. You're becoming mean. You bring out the worst in me. The answer came so naturally that neither realized what he'd said. YN stared. Taehyung stared back. Then, for the first time, both laughed at the same time. The sound echoed through the rain. Warm, comfortable, easy, like they belonged beside each other. And maybe without realizing it, they were starting to. What neither of them knew was that everyone else had already noticed. The teachers, their friends, the football team, even the librarian. Everyone could see it. Everyone except them. Because the people falling in love are usually the last ones to realize it. Because the people falling in love are usually the last ones to realize it. Unfortunately for Taehyung and YN, the universe had decided it was time to help them figure it out. In the worst way possible, through jealousy. It started on a Monday, which was rude. Mondays were already difficult enough. YN had just arrived at school when she spotted something strange. Very strange. Suspicious even. A girl was standing beside Taehyung's locker. A pretty girl. Long dark hair. Perfect uniform. Perfect smile. The kind of girl who looked like she belonged in a drama. The kind of girl YN immediately disliked. For absolutely no reason. None whatsoever. Her friend followed her gaze. Oh, what? Oh no. Why? Anne frowned. What? Her friend pointed. That's Mina. The name sounded familiar. Unfortunately, who? The girl who's been trying to talk to Taehyung for 2 months. Why? Anne blinked. What? Her friend stared. You didn't know? No. How did you not know? I don't spend my free time investigating Kim Taehyung. A lie. A terrible lie. A very obvious lie. Her friend didn't even bother responding, because they both knew it wasn't true. Across the hallway, Mina laughed at something Taehyung said, actually laughed, then touched his arm. Touched his arm. YN's eye twitched. Interesting. Very interesting. Because suddenly, she wanted to throw Mina into traffic. Not kill her. Just gently launch her into traffic. Her friend slowly backed away. You look scary. I'm fine. You absolutely aren't. I'm fine. You're gripping your notebook like it owes you money. Why? Anne looked down. The notebook was slightly bent. Oops. Meanwhile, Taehyung was having his own problems, because a certain football player had decided why En was interesting. A terrible decision. A catastrophic decision. A decision Taehyung strongly disagreed with. Unfortunately, nobody had asked for his opinion. The football player appeared almost every day now, always smiling, always flirting, always making YN laugh, which was becoming a problem, a very big problem. Today was somehow worse, because Taehyung walked into class and found the guy sitting on YN's desk, talking to her, laughing, looking far too comfortable. YN noticed Taehyung first, immediately smiling. The sight should have improved his mood. It didn't. Because the football player smiled too. And suddenly, Taehyung wanted violence. Not serious violence, just enough violence. A healthy amount. Jimin noticed instantly. Of course he did. You look upset. I'm not. You are. No. Jimin followed his gaze, immediately understood, then started laughing. Oh. What? Oh, this is bad. Taehyung hated that sentence. What? You've got it bad. No, you absolutely do. No, you want to fight a football player. He seems annoying. You don't even know him. He exists. Jimin nearly fell out of his chair. At lunch, things got worse. Much worse. YN entered the cafeteria carrying her tray, immediately spotting Taehyung by the window. Her usual seat across from him was empty. Perfect. Unfortunately, before she could sit down, someone else did. Mina, YN, stopped walking. The tray suddenly felt heavier. Across the room, Mina was smiling. Taehyung was listening, and worst of all, he wasn't leaving. Her stomach twisted. Strange, uncomfortable, wrong. Why did it feel wrong? She didn't know. Didn't want to know. Wasn't going to think about it. Absolutely not. Then someone sat beside her. The football player, of course, because apparently today hated her. Hey, you look angry. I'm not. You are. No. The football player laughed. Why? Anne barely heard it, because her attention remained fixed across the room. On Mina. On Taehyung. On the way Mina kept smiling. On the way Taehyung kept answering. Then the worst thing happened. Taehyung laughed. A real laugh. The laugh. Her favorite laugh. The one she'd worked weeks to earn. And suddenly, something sharp twisted inside her chest. A feeling she didn't recognize, didn't understand, didn't like, not one bit. Across the cafeteria, Taehyung looked up. Their eyes met. For a second, everything stopped. Then he noticed who was sitting beside her. The football player, smiling, leaning close, talking, and suddenly, his mood somehow became worse. Impossible, yet true. YN looked away first. Taehyung looked away second. Neither touched their food. Neither knew why. After school, the tutoring session was a disaster. A complete disaster. YN arrived annoyed. Taehyung arrived annoyed. Neither knew the reason. Or rather, neither wanted to admit the reason. Which was different. Very different. You're late. You noticed. Taehyung regretted speaking immediately. Because YN smiled. A dangerous smile. One that said she noticed what he'd accidentally revealed. Interesting. Very interesting. You waited for me? No. You literally just math. What? We're doing math? Coward. Absolute coward. YN almost laughed. Almost. But then she remembered Mina. And suddenly she didn't feel like laughing anymore. The change was immediate. Taehyung noticed. Of course he did. He always noticed. What happened? Nothing. Lie. Obvious lie. Terrible lie. Taehyung set his pencil down. What happened? YN stared at her notebook. Anything except him? Because she couldn't exactly say. I hated seeing another girl make you laugh. That would be insane. Completely insane. Right? Right? On the other side of the table, Taehyung wasn't doing much better. Because he couldn't stop thinking about the football player. Or the way YN smiled around him. Or how comfortable they looked together. The thought made his chest tighten. Again. And he was getting very tired of that. Eventually, their eyes met. Both tired. Both frustrated. Both confused. And for one brief second, they almost understood. Almost, but not yet. Not quite. Because sometimes your heart figures things out long before your brain does. And theirs were getting dangerously close. Without permission. Without warning. Without any idea that the annual school festival was only 3 weeks away. And that festival would change everything. The annual school festival was 3 weeks away. Which should have been exciting, should have. Instead, it was slowly turning into a nightmare. At least for YN. Because every day brought a new opportunity to watch Mina smile at Taehyung. And every day brought a new opportunity to pretend she didn't care. The pretending part was getting harder. Tuesday afternoon, student council preparations had officially begun. Meaning Taehyung was busy. Very busy. Annoyingly busy. Annoyingly busy. YN had told herself she didn't mind. Then spent 20 minutes staring at an empty library chair. The same chair he usually occupied. The same chair that remained empty. Her math book sat open, untouched. Because unfortunately, the equations weren't the problem. The problem was that she kept looking toward the door, waiting like an idiot. Finally, it opened. YN immediately looked up, then immediately wished she hadn't. Because Mina walked in, followed by Taehyung. Laughing about something, the sight hit harder than expected. Much harder. For some reason, she couldn't breathe properly. A stupid reaction. A ridiculous reaction. One she absolutely hated. Mina noticed her first, smiling politely. Hi. Why? N smiled back. The smile hurt. Hi. Taehyung immediately noticed something was wrong. The way her shoulders stiffened. The way her smile didn't reach her eyes. The way she suddenly focused very hard on her textbook. What happened? YN didn't look up. Nothing there. It was. That word again. Nothing. The most obvious lie she ever told. Taehyung frowned. But before he could ask again, Mina grabbed his sleeve. Come on. His attention shifted, only for a second. Yet somehow, it felt like much longer. YN looked away first. Because, for some reason, she suddenly didn't want to be there anymore. The problem followed her all week. Everywhere. Hallways, classrooms, lunch, student, council meetings, everywhere. Because Mina was always there. And Taehyung seemed comfortable with her. Comfortable. The word bothered YN more than it should have. One afternoon, her friend finally snapped. You like him? YN nearly choked on her drink. What? You heard me? No. Yes. No. Yes. The argument continued for 5 minutes. Neither winning, neither surrendering. Until finally her friend leaned forward. Dangerously calm. Then why do you hate Mina? Why? N opened her mouth, closed it, opened it again. Nothing came out. Because unfortunately, she didn't have an answer. At least not one she was ready to admit. Meanwhile, Taehyung wasn't doing much better. Because the football player had somehow become worse. Much worse. Now he wasn't just talking to YN. Now he was walking her to class, saving her seats, bringing her snacks, existing far too much. The existence part was especially offensive. Jimin had never enjoyed someone suffering more. You know? Taehyung immediately sighed, because that tone never led anywhere good. What? You should tell her no. You should. No. You stare at her like she's the last person on earth. I do not. You absolutely do. No. Jimin grinned. Oh, this is going to be fun. I hate you. No, you don't. Fair. Unfortunately, very fair. Friday arrived, then disaster arrived with it. The festival committee posted partner assignments. Students crowded around the board, shouting, complaining, celebrating why, and squeezed through the crowd, curious. Then froze. Her name, there, on the list. Partnered with the football player. Her eye twitched. No. Beside her, someone else spoke, also unhappy. No. YN turned. Taehyung. Their eyes met, then immediately moved upward to his assignment. Partnered with Mina. The world stopped, just for a second. Then everything became worse, much worse. Because neither could explain why their chest suddenly hurt, why disappointment felt so heavy, why seeing the other's name beside someone else felt wrong, so painfully wrong. That evening, rain fell over the city. The library was almost empty. Only YN and Taehyung remained, sitting across from each other, silent. The tension felt strange, unfamiliar. Neither knew what to do with it. Finally, Taehyung spoke. You don't like your partner? Why? And laughed softly. No, you don't even know him. Exactly. A tiny smile appeared on his face, then disappeared. You'll survive. The answer should have been comforting. Instead, it made her chest hurt, because somehow she wanted him to sound disappointed. And that realization terrified her a lot. Outside, thunder rolled. Rain hit the windows. Inside, the silence stretched. Then, unexpectedly, Taehyung looked away, toward the storm. His voice quieter this time. I don't like mine either. YN blinked. The confession surprised her, more than it should have. Really? Really? Something warm appeared inside her chest. Tiny, fragile, yet impossible to ignore. And for the first time, neither looked away. Not immediately. Not this time. The moment stretched. Longer, longer, longer. Until suddenly both became aware of it. The eye contact, the silence, the way their hearts seemed louder than the rain. Then the library lights flickered. The spell broke. Instantly, both looked away. Both pretended nothing happened. Both failed miserably. Because deep down, something had already changed. Something important. Something irreversible. Neither could name it yet, but they could feel it growing. Slowly. Dangerously. Like standing too close to the edge of a cliff. And neither realized that the school festival, only days away now, was about to push them right over it. The school festival was 6 days away, and everything was getting worse for both of them. It started with festival preparations. Every student had been assigned a task, decorations, food stalls, games, performances, absolute chaos. Naturally, YN hated it, not because she disliked festivals. She loved them. She hated them because she was stuck with the football player, and Taehyung was stuck with Mina, a personal attack. Honestly, the gymnasium looked like a war zone. Boxes everywhere, paint supplies, banners, fairy lights, students running around screaming. Nobody knew what was happening, including the teachers. YN stood on a ladder trying to hang decorations, trying being the important word because she was failing spectacularly. Left. I'm going left. Your other left. YN froze. Oh, the football player laughed. Unfortunately, his laugh echoed at exactly the wrong moment, because someone across the gym looked up Taehyung. Their eyes met briefly. Then the football player caught YN before she slipped. And suddenly, Taehyung wasn't smiling anymore. Interesting. Very interesting. Across the gym, Mina noticed. Because, apparently, everyone noticed everything except the two people involved. You know? Taehyung continued arranging decorations. What? You keep looking over there? His hands stopped only briefly. Do I? Yes, the answer came immediately. Far too immediately. Mina smiled. Not mean, not bitter. Just knowing, which somehow made it worse. She's pretty. Taehyung looked up. What? Mina nodded, toward YN, your friend. The word friend felt strange, wrong somehow. Taehyung hated that, because he shouldn't. Friend was accurate. Technically, probably, maybe. Unfortunately, his heart wasn't cooperating. The following day was worse, because festival preparation meant spending hours together. Hours, watching, noticing, thinking, feeling. Dangerous activities, all of them. YN was painting a banner when she noticed Mina laughing. Again, at something Taehyung said, again, and for some reason it irritated her. A lot. Her paintbrush snapped, literally snapped. The football player blinked. How strong are you? YN stared at the broken brush, then at Mina, then at Taehyung, then back at the brush. I don't know. Later that afternoon, the football player offered her a drink. A normal gesture, friendly, completely harmless. Unfortunately, Taehyung witnessed it. The entire thing. The smile. The conversation. The way YN accepted it. And suddenly, he missed an entire section of instructions from the teacher. A shocking first. Kim Taehyung blinked. The teacher frowned. Were you listening? No. The entire class gasped, because Kim Taehyung always listened. Always. YN merely laughed, because she knew exactly why he wasn't. And somehow, that realization made her chest feel lighter. The days continued. The tension continued. Everything continued. Until finally, Festival Eve arrived. The final preparation night. Students stayed late, decorating. The school glowed beneath hundreds of lights. The hallways looked magical. Almost unreal music echoed from distant classrooms. Laughter filled the air. And somehow, for the first time, YN found herself alone. Completely alone. On the school rooftop, the city lights stretched endlessly below. The evening breeze played with her hair. The sky glowed orange and purple. Beautiful, peaceful, exactly what she needed, or so she thought. The rooftop door opened. YN didn't need to turn around. She already knew. You're avoiding everyone. Taehyung's voice, soft, familiar, dangerous. She smiled. Maybe. His footsteps approached slowly, until he stopped beside her. Close enough, not too close, just enough. For a while, neither spoke. The silence wasn't awkward anymore. Hadn't been for a long time. Somehow, silence with Taehyung had become her favorite kind. The city sparkled beneath them. Cars moved like tiny lights. The wind carried distant music. And for a moment, everything felt peaceful. Then Taehyung ruined it. You're jealous. YN nearly choked. What? Mina. Direct hit. Critical damage. System failure. YN stared at him, horrified, offended, caught. I am not. You broke a paintbrush. That proves nothing. You looked ready to murder her. That's my normal face. Taehyung laughed, actually laughed, and suddenly, YN forgot how angry she was supposed to be, which was annoying, very annoying. Then she narrowed her eyes. Oh, what? Oh. Taehyung immediately looked suspicious. A wise decision, because YN pointed dramatically. You were jealous too. Silence. Immediate silence. Taehyung looked away. Too quickly. Far too quickly. And suddenly, everything became very interesting. You were. No, you were. No, you absolutely were. No. The football player? Nothing. YN gasped, loudly, dramatically. Oh my God. No, you were jealous. No, you looked ready to kill him. No. A pause. Then maybe a little. The confession escaped before he could stop it. Both froze. The words hung between them. Dangerous, terrifying, real. And for the first time, neither laughed, neither joked, neither looked away. Because suddenly, this wasn't teasing anymore. This wasn't friendship anymore. This was something else. Something neither could ignore. Not now. Not after this. The breeze moved softly between them. The city lights shimmered below. And somewhere deep inside, both of them finally began realizing the truth. The truth everyone else had known for months. The truth they'd spent weeks running from. The truth that explained everything. Every smile, every glance, every moment, every heartbeat, every ounce of jealousy, every reason they kept searching for each other in crowded rooms. Because somewhere between detention and tutoring and rainy walks home and stolen moments in the library, they'd fallen hard, hopelessly, completely, and neither knew what to do about it. The festival was tomorrow, and whether they were ready or not, everything was about to change.